In the early morning of June 21st at 3:50 a.m., a sudden collapse occurred near Jinli West Road on the Chengdu Metro Line 13, which was under construction. Judging from the preliminary photos and videos from the scene, a large sinkhole roughly 12 meters long and 6 to 7 meters deep formed. Cracks were also discovered in the ground of a nearby residential area. Currently, there are no reports of casualties. Many people who saw the photos of the collapse were quite shocked, with comments like, "Is this the legendary ultra-thin road surface? It's like thin paper, easily broken with a poke. It looks so thin and brittle like a pancake." And, "The most frightened must be the nearby residents." Videos circulating online show multiple residential buildings on both sides of the incident, with barriers set up to prevent vehicles from falling in and engineers working on repairs. On the morning of the 21st, the official account of the Chengdu Rail Transit Construction issued a statement regarding the collapse. According to the statement, two buried water pipes, with diameters of 1 meter and 0.3 meters respectively, naturally burst outside of the construction pit of Xiaonan Street Station on Chengdu Metro Line 13, which was being constructed by China Railway No. 2 Engineering Corp. This caused a collapse of a 12-meter section of road near 119 Jinli West Road. According to Chinese media reports, the construction of the first phase of Chengdu Metro Line 13 officially began on November 11, 2019. The line is approximately 29 kilometers long with a total of 21 stations, all of which are underground. The construction is being handled by China Railway No. 2 Engineering Group, a subsidiary of the state-owned China Railway Group Limited, which is in turn controlled by the central enterprise China Railway Engineering Corporation. Last month, the construction company announced that the main structures of 20 out of the 21 stations had been topped out, with only Xiaonan Street Station still under construction, expected to be topped out by August this year. The report highlighted that due to the station's location under a major arterial road with heavy traffic, the semi-cover excavation method was adopted for Xiaonan Street Station. This method involves dividing the pit beneath the main road into two sections, covering one side with reinforced concrete panels for vehicle passage while continuing excavation on the other side, thus operating with half-open, half-covered sections. Mr. Qin, a resident of the nearby Shendai City residential complex, mentioned that the sinkhole was only 3 to 4 meters away from the complex, although preliminary assessments by staff suggested that there would be no potential safety hazards to the surrounding buildings. Further evaluations by professional institutions are required to confirm if there will be any subsequent impacts. Chat records from the residential complex's owner group showed that some residents had shown photos indicating cracks in the ground within the complex, and others had observed staff measuring subsidence data in the area. A security guard from the Shendai City residential complex said, at around 3 a.m., someone noticed the subway road collapse, and immediately the property management staff began notifying all residents in building number 3, which is closest to the collapse line. They were advised to evacuate. They went floor to floor, from the 1st to the 23rd, notifying each household. Some residents reported being abruptly awakened from their sleep by sudden noise and urgent knocking on the doors. They felt disoriented and were told to evacuate immediately. Families rushed out with only light clothing. The hallways and the area downstairs were crowded and noisy. In the haste, some people forgot to bring essential items like medication, phones, or wallets. Some were carrying elderly family members, and others were holding children, leading to a chaotic scene. Many residents have since been relocated to hotels. A post on mainland platform Weibo from a person claiming to be familiar with the situation stated, "This happened right under our complex. Our water and electricity have been cut off, and the collapse has reached the corner of the complex wall." Another user commented, "This used to be a great area with subway access, and now it's a danger zone." Weibo users also raised doubts, questioning, natural pipe burst, 2 pipes at the same spot at the same time? Did the water pipes cause the ground to collapse? This is unbelievable. Others questioned, why aren't the reasons for the pipe burst explained? Is there a direct causal relationship between the pipe burst and the ground collapse? On Platform X, some netizens posted comments like, "This is indeed the #1 shoddy construction project in the world. With such a thin cement surface, it's a miracle it didn't collapse sooner." Since 2014, Chengdu has been pushing forward construction at a rapid pace, resulting in frequent safety incidents. On September 10, 2021, at 2 p.m., During the construction of the noise and dust reduction shed at Beilu Station of Chengdu Metro Line 17, Phase 2, a collapse occurred, causing 4 deaths and 14 injuries, with direct economic losses exceeding 6.5 million RMB. Following the accident, an official investigation team was formed. The team concluded that the direct cause of the accident was the insufficient load-bearing capacity of some vertical members connected to the supports and the ineffective connection between the upper cord supports of the truss and the support columns during construction, leading to an unstable working condition of the truss structure. The load on the top of the truss and the external disturbances from cross-construction operations accelerated the collapse of the unstable system. Indirect causes included illegal production operations, illegal contracting and subcontracting without proper construction qualifications, inadequate on-site management, insufficient project review and approval, and design defects. In summary, the accident was clearly the result of human error. The investigation revealed that the Urban Rail Company of China Railway 11th Bureau, a central enterprise, was involved in illegal production operations, and on-site management was inadequate. The investigation report stated that 5 responsible individuals from China Railway 12th Bureau Urban Railway Company, the state-owned supervision company, Shanghai Jianhao, and other units were suspected of committing major liability accidents. 17 related personnel from these companies were subjected to administrative penalties and disciplinary actions. Additionally, issues were found with the performance of duties by public officials during the investigation. Such reports from the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, are often vague and fail to disclose specific administrative penalties imposed on officials, glossing over the details with ambiguous language. Consequently, the final outcomes remain a mystery to the general public. This approach serves 2 purposes: to cover up and protect the officials involved, allowing them to make a comeback later, and to leave room for maneuvering the punishment of officials, which may include acts of bribery and corruption. According to incomplete statistics, there have been at least 4 serious construction safety accidents involving the Chengdu Metro. From 2017 to 2020 alone, 3 incidents occurred, resulting in at least 4 deaths, 5 injuries, and damage to a civil aviation aircraft's wing. It seems that the officials in Chengdu at the time had a particular affinity for the metro, as if only the metro could showcase their extraordinary capabilities and achievements. In 2020 alone, Chengdu put 5 metro lines into operation, covering a total length of 216.3 kilometers. That year, officials' ambitious goals were realized. Chengdu's metro operating mileage surpassed that of Shenzhen and Guangzhou, ranking 3rd in the country. The average metro length per 10,000 people was 0.35 kilometers, almost comparable to Tokyo and Hong Kong. The massive scale of the Chengdu Metro has not resulted in good economic benefits. On the contrary, it has incurred severe losses. In 2020, Chengdu Metro suffered an actual loss of 7.7 billion RMB, the highest loss in the country. In 2022, it faced another huge loss of 5.5 million RMB. The massive losses are covered by government subsidies. However, it is well known that the government does not generate profits, so this money ultimately comes from the pockets of the people. During the same period, many messages from migrant workers seeking payment from the Chengdu Metro appeared on the message board of the Sichuan provincial leader's website. Collapse accidents and shoddy construction projects are as common and as inevitable as the corruption among Chinese Communist Party officials. These accident cases cover all areas of infrastructure, including highways, railways, tunnels, and residential buildings. On June 17th, around 3 in the afternoon, a landslide occurred near the entrance of Sanxi Village on National Highway 236 in Dongpo Town, Jiangxi Province, burying an excavator and 2 waiting vehicles and blocking traffic. The official report estimated that the landslide volume was about 10,000 cubic meters, with no casualties reported. At the time, excavator driver Zhu Yao was clearing debris from a previous landslide on the road. He suddenly heard the safety officer shout, "It's collapsing, run quickly." Due to the slow reverse speed of the excavator, Zhu Yao couldn't back up in time and had to abandon the vehicle and run. He said that once he got out, his legs were weak with fear, realizing that he had narrowly escaped with his life. The next day, the Fuzhou City Highway Development Center issued a notice stating that due to continuous rainy weather, multiple road sections in Fuzhou City experienced roadbed washouts and slope collapses. The official notice, as usual, emphasized the continuous rainy weather, but did not mention any issues with the quality of the slope protection engineering. This is a common practice of the CCP. When such incidents occur, they blame natural factors. The quality of engineering projects is seldom discussed openly. On the morning of June 15th, around 6 a.m., a collapse occurred at the exit of a tunnel on Provincial Highway 304 in Wushuan County, Guangxi, blocking the tunnel exit. The estimated collapse volume was about 1,500 cubic meters, with around 45 vehicles stranded, including 2 vehicles trapped inside the tunnel by the mudslide. Fortunately, no casualties were reported. Official media reports continue to focus on the heavy rain. On June 4th, at around 3 p.m., a sudden collapse occurred on the right side of a long tunnel under construction at Haidong City, Qinghai Province. 3 construction workers. By around 3 a.m. the next day, all 3 trapped individuals were found, but they had unfortunately perished. The construction unit of the tunnel, the 4th Engineering Bureau of China Water Resources and Hydropower, conducted a comprehensive emergency drill for underground chamber collapses at the tunnel exit on May 13, 2024. However, this formal drill did not prevent casualties when an actual accident occurred. Public records show that the tunnel where the accident occurred is 11.2 kilometers long, making it the longest highway tunnel currently under construction in Qinghai Province. The maximum buried depth of the tunnel base is 796 meters, with complex and variable geological conditions. On June 21st, around 3 p.m., the scaffolding of the exterior wall renovation of a more than 10-story residential building on Tianfu Road in Tianhe District, Guangzhou, suddenly collapsed. Videos from the scene show that the construction scaffold was over 10 stories high, with one side having collapsed, leaving the framework and other debris scattered on the ground amid rolling dust and chaos. At the scene, heart-wrenching screams from the injured could be heard. Some bystanders quickly called the police. The local government reported that the accident resulted in 6 injuries, fortunately none of them life-threatening. A worker at the scene stated that the collapsed scaffolding was used for a renovation project of an old building. At that time, workers were removing the external wall tiles of the residential building, with 10 workers working on the front side. Upon hearing a loud noise, he quickly climbed to the top floor and managed to get down via the stairs. During a journalist interview on site, another loud collapse was heard from the building. Some residents were waiting downstairs. They reported hearing a loud bang and rang out without carrying anything. They were told they could only return after safety inspections were completed. Some residents were still inside, but entry and exit were restricted. Around 6 p.m. that day, more scaffolding suddenly fell from a height. According to a housing database, the residential building where the accident occurred was built in 1995, less than 30 years ago, and it is already undergoing renovation. China's residential building code generally specifies a design life of 50 years for residential buildings. Therefore, these shoddy constructions should not be expected to reach their intended lifespan. Shoddy high-rise buildings are not uncommon in China. A man living on the 27th floor has first-hand experience of this.
Isn't it scary? During regular wind and rain, the sounds coming from the building I live in are like ghostly wails. When there's a heavy rainstorm and thunder, it feels like the whole building is swinging, like a pendulum. Look at the water in the bathtub. It's churning like waves. When I open the window, the house is filled with dust. Honestly, in Wuhan, any building over 18 stories is trash. I really don't understand why Wuhan builds so many residential buildings that are 30 to 60 stories high. Can they last 50 years?
A netizen shared a short video asking, "Would you dare to live in such a building?" In the video, a high-rise residential building can be seen swaying continuously in the wind. The whole building is shaking and everyone living inside has come running out. This has happened twice since yesterday, and we still don't know why. This is a residential building in Hangzhou's Zhongsha Jingzhuo community. Public information shows the building was constructed in 2009. You might wonder why China has so many construction projects that are under par. With such enthusiasm for construction, why not build more robust infrastructure? The reason lies in the behavior of Chinese officials at various levels. They love construction projects because these projects provide opportunities for them to gain benefits. Additionally, any construction project generates GDP, which is a metric for their political achievements. Achieving political success while also reaping practical benefits is a win-win situation for them. When officials gain benefits, they naturally relax their supervision. The construction companies, aiming for maximum profit, often cut corners, leading to numerous shoddy construction projects in China. Scholars have found that one of the main criteria for evaluating Chinese officials is GDP growth rate. Chinese economists Li Hongbing and Zhou Lian noted that the faster the economic development in a province during an official's tenure, the higher the likelihood of their promotion. This applies to local government at all levels. The GDP measure, which only considers investment in fixed assets as GDP without accounting for losses due to various reasons, fuels this trend. As a result, Chinese officials are eager to initiate construction projects. A common phenomenon is the cycle of building, demolishing, and rebuilding infrastructure like roads and bridges before their intended lifespan ends. If the initial project is poorly constructed and collapses due to disasters like floods, then there is a justified reason for rebuilding, which further contributes to GDP. Generating GDP requires constant construction and innovation project types, which is one reason why the Chinese government is so keen on large-scale infrastructure projects. Here is a video that started circulating online on June 20th, showing a residential area in Xining, Qinghai Province. And the video's author was shocked, saying, "This is the first time I've seen this, and there are probably another 100 behind the building." Manhole covers in Shenzhen look like this. Indeed, Shenzhen is a first-tier city and has unique methods. To prevent illegal parking, barriers are set up like this. For many officials, these methods are not particularly sophisticated. They have more powerful tactics, such as leveraging natural disasters. Heavy rain, earthquakes, and hurricanes are all tools they use. Let's take flooding as an example, to illustrate the human causes behind natural calamities. Many viewers might already know that during the rainy season, floods frequently occur across China. Many roads, tunnels, and bridges are destroyed. Cities suffer from waterlogging, and even many people's homes and lives are lost. On the one hand, these infrastructures are often shoddy constructions with poor quality. On the other hand, unannounced flood discharge is a common tactic. This involves suddenly opening the sluice gates of reservoirs without notifying downstream residents. This is related to the higher power generation efficiency when reservoirs operate at high water levels, a practice often carried out with the tacit approval of officials. After a flood, officials can blame the losses on natural factors, emphasizing heavy and prolonged rainfall. This diverts attention from the poor quality of shoddy constructions. Additionally, after a flood, officials can visit the disaster site, take photos, and pretend to comfort the victims, thereby enhancing their image. Moreover, post-disaster reconstruction projects provide a good opportunity to gain benefits and create impressive GDP figures. Therefore, so-called natural disasters offer multiple advantages to local government officials. Why wouldn't they welcome them? Some might ask, don't they care about the casualties among the people? They really don't. Their power comes from higher authorities, and they are accountable only to those above them. The lives of ordinary people are not considered by most CCP officials. The lives and deaths of those people have no bearing on the officials' interests, power, or promotions. Therefore, many seemingly natural disasters are actually man-made. The root of all these man-made disasters lie in the fundamental nature of the Chinese communist regime, which is authoritarian. The corruption bred by this system creates numerous shoddy constructions, which are the main cause of various safety accidents. In summary, authoritarian politics is the biggest disaster for the Chinese people.